There we go.
Alzheimer drugs are kicking in, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Can you hear that background noise? Anybody hear them landscapers out there? No? Okay.
No.
All right. They're weed whacking and mowing and doing all kinds of stuff out there. Anyway, all right. So here's what we wanted to talk to you guys about today. Our concerns on the timeline, finalizing the timeline. We've had 3 postponements, this being the 3rd one coming to March 1st for the kickoff and marketing, and May 1st for the actual plan kickoff. So I guess you could say two months from January to now. The end of March would be 3 months. We still don't have all the prerequisites in place there that we need to complete and finalize and get to them. And this is what we want to talk about. You know, in 3 months' time, I think we should be further along than this, or at least have some of these pieces in place that need to be finalized. So let's start with number 1 there, the revised Anthem GERBS policy agreement. Where does this stand, Don? Where's all that? You know, we sent you a whole bunch of questions and concerns about some of the language in there, and we asked you to review it. Jeez, those people are getting loud. Review it with Anthem and, you know, revise the policy and get it back to us. So where's that stand, Don? Is Don there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hold on 1 second.
All right.
Sorry, I'm back.
Who's that?
Mike,
Oh, okay. Why is it taking so long with them, Don? Why is it taking so long to get this policy agreement out of the way?
It's not really taking very long.
Not?
No.
Well, I sent you the original questions back on 3/9, 3/10, I think it was, with all the questions and concerns, both from us, the board, and from Ed Stone, his questions. So we needed to look at some of this language, and I mean, I could bring that up. I have that open, but
I think I just sent you, I think, the right revised one, which has the full voluntary language. So have Ed or whoever's reviewing it review from that. And if you want, we can take 5 minutes just to walk through these quick questions now. I mean, most of these are not really questions. They're just like comments that really don't relate to very much. So if you need a written response for them, we're happy, I guess, to provide them. But I'm talking first about the questions, concerns. They're more like observations, like can't provide a group plan with nationwide portability. That's not true. We can.
Let me bring it up here so that people can follow you here. Okay, there we go. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the first one is just can't provide a group plan with nationwide portability. That's not true. We are providing a group plan. It is a group plan, and it does have nationwide portability. It's available in all 50 states and any other territory of the US, so Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, Guam, that sort of thing. It does have minimal coverage on an emergency basis for international travel, but you know, other than that, it's Medicare, so it's US based. Are there any more questions regarding that, or?
Well, that's why the second bullet point is there, the different rates. The way that thing read is you may get different rates on an interplan because different policies in different states
Yeah,
take
so,
over jurisdiction or whatever.
Yeah, so in the latest thing I just sent you, just go from there, and just it's in a Word document. If you want to redline it yourself, if you want to just like, if you have a comment, you want to redline the comment, it's fine. But all that is it may, and it's true. You may want to do that. You may want to have 2 or 3 regionalized rates, and we talked about this. The reason is that the rate that's prevailing and might be very competitive in New York might be outrageously expensive in Utah. And so we talked about it, depending on where the bulk of the people are going to be, we think it's going to be in that sort of higher cost areas to begin with, so the Northeast region, Florida, and then, maybe some other places are going to be a little bit less. And it's not the same even within whole states. So Schenectady area is going to be a lower cost than sort of metro New York City. Anyway, it's just an open question. We have a single rate nationwide. The question then is, do you want to adjust it so we regionalize it? It's an open question. We talked about it last time.
Yeah, we'd rather see it nationwide rate. If we start getting in, people are going to start saying, well, what are you doing? And it goes to one of the other questions about you're creating classes of retirees and different rates in different areas. And why is this one paying $90 and I'm paying $120? That's going to create a lot of controversy, I think.
And so we're clear that is what we did already. The other thing would be a departure from that. So, okay. And the second thing, just as relates to rates, this has been since conversation 1, we said that the strategy ought to be to serve people to improve what they can otherwise do. And for that reason, we looked at the richest set of benefits we could provide at a price point at around $200, maybe just under that. And then a sort of a value-based arrangement around that $100 level. And then one other arrangement for those people that are looking to keep
one part through
one of the subsidy pieces through VIA, just having a standalone piece. And that we were going to avoid trying to mimic something in the individual market, because people that liked, for example, the 0 premium HMO type plans, there's dozens of them in every region that are already available. So we're not adding anything, we're not distinguishing anything, we're not assisting anyone to a greater extent. So we're really focused on how can we help people where this is something that they cannot otherwise get themselves. It's a better product, and it's a better product in the specific things that we've talked about. Again, I'm just going over the same thing we've talked about in the past. It allows full coverage nationwide. It is a Medicare Advantage plan, but in every way behaves like you can go in or out of the network, same level of benefits as long as they take Medicare. It has prescription drug benefits that you can't get in the individual marketplace. We talked about what those are called, EGWP benefits, the employer group waiver plans. So they have coverage in the donut hole, and they include some brand coverage as well.
Who's running that, Don? Who's the principal agent for that? Is it a pharmacy chain or a pharmacy group or what?
It's part of Anthem. It has its own branding, but it's wholly owned by Anthem. It's just well, they brand their Medicare thing slightly differently, but it's their same PBM. So they had previously, maybe this is what you're thinking, they had previously, going back 3 years ago, and before that, they had partnered nationally with Express Scripts. They then built and bought their own PBM stuff, and so they've been operating in that structure for the last 3 or 4 years. Okay. So anyway, but it's the same thing. They have all 64,000 pharmacies nationally, et cetera, et cetera. So all that's very similar. Works just the same as everyone else's kind of PBM there. And then in terms of the plan design stuff, we had shared, and I don't think that there were any outstanding edits, but we had shared the 40-page document that we'd gone through line by line. So you had that for both of those benefits. If they're not immediately available to you, we can resend those to you. But
now that isn't part of the addendum. Now in the original pilot, the the sample one, if you will, specimen, I guess you call it. It didn't have the addendums. We want to see the addendums, you know, having those plans, the plan design for the 3 options. That's what we want to see as part of that contract. That should be in the contract, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's, so the group policy agreement is sort of a standalone thing. We could staple this on if you want. Each of the individuals are required to get a fulfillment. The fulfillment looks a little bit separately. It's mandated by CMS, but there'll be a certificate of coverage that confirms their enrollment, and it will have detailed stuff. Plus there's a fulfillment kit. So that's the heavily detailed thing. Separate from that, we have built, and we can share, not today, probably not tomorrow either, but we've built a 4-page comparative benefit by benefit design that has the 2 designs next to each other with the price. It's that sort of thing, not these 40 pages and not the, you know, other 40 pages of each of the designs that we would send to the individuals prior to enrollment.
Right. Well, eventually, I think we would like to have that because we would end up answering questions too to our.
Yeah, of course. Like I said, we'll circulate that to it. It's just in review. I can actually circulate it to you before it hasn't gone through compliance review yet, but I can circulate that. You can comment on it, you know, the layout of it, but it's just a 4-page document that summarizes the benefits pretty nicely. So instead of taking 40 pages to summarize it doesn't have every benefit on there, but you know, it has like the main copay. You know, if it's a $15 copay to see the doctor, it's listed. If it's, you know, whatever, that level of thing, anything that anyone would basically, you know, initially want to know will be contained in it. Again, it's 4 pages, not 40, but it's still fairly comprehensive, fairly informative, and has a summary of the prescription drugs as well. So we can circulate that. The other one, like I said, honestly, what I'd rather get from you, not to turn this around, but what I'd rather get is you to just initial, yes, these are that full 40 page. This is what we've agreed to. These are the benefits. Initial, thanks. Then we're done with that, and the rest of it's just marketing material. But those documents can be, if you want. I mean, we can I just on the thing just say addendum A benefits or something, but they might change over time. So, you know, it's going to be
the change. We'll address it at that point, but I'd like to see the total contract include those with, you know, those addendums.
If you can,
I think Ed feels the same way on that.
I'm sorry.
And I think Ed feels the same way. I believe in his comments that, you know, where are the addendums?
So if you can, just take a look. I just want to make sure you received what I sent you just a few minutes ago.
Hold
on. So while you're looking at that, I want to keep moving on this. So
yeah, keep going.
A couple of enrollees or applications guaranteed to start. We said you know, you can't really have an issued policy without an enrollment, without someone enrolled. So I'm going to say and again, I'm just repeating what we already talked about, but if we have 2 people that come in, if it's July 1 and 2 people are willing to come in for July, then we'll say that we're July 1. If 0 people come in for July 1 and we say it's July 1, then it just doesn't make any sense. There's nobody enrolled. So the first time someone comes in will be the first date that we say it's actually active. And then if nobody comes in for like a year, which again would be a complete fail, we're not going to let that happen. I will enroll myself. I will turn 65 and enroll myself. Okay,
good. You're our first client. We'll boot you out right after.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm feeling 66 today. So just the minimum number is just the minimum number. And I'm going to go right to the bottom where it says, does Empire understand we may start small? The answer is yes. It's the same question. We're likely to start with less than 100 people. We're likely to start with only a handful of people. So we're totally.
That depends on the marketing we do and how many we draw in. We have some that's shown interest. We need to do a webinar. There's a lot of variables to how many we're going to have right off the bat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So anyway, it's de minimis. you know, we do need a person in order to start. We'd like two to start, so we can say it's a group. In terms of the payment of premiums, I'm going to put this in the broad category of you're not doing anything. You're not doing any billing. You're not doing any collection. You're not doing any policy certificate issuance. You're not doing any of that. It's all being outsourced to a licensed TPA, us.
Okay.
So
Is that going to state that in that contract agreement, that policy agreement? Does that state that specifically?
So I'm going to go with, it may not at the moment, but if it needs to clarify that, then we'll put that in. I will make a note.
Yeah, please do, because I don't want this ever coming back on us. Hey, we get a bill from Anthem or Empire or whatever group we're dealing with over there. You owe us this amount of money for 10 enrollees or some damn thing.
So the next one is can't give us what was originally agreed to between Benistar and Solutions. I'm not really sure I know what that means.
I'm not sure. I was reading that earlier. I said, what the hell did I mean by that?
But
it really depends whether you meant it before the first drink or after the fourth drink.
Yeah, well, I don't drink, brother, so it can't be that.
But it could have been iced tea. Maybe you had to go to the men's room.
Yeah. I have to think about that one, Don. I'm not 100% sure, other than how we laid it out and right from the beginning and timelines we set and getting all these specifics finalized. I would assume has to do with a general question like that. Are we going to fulfill this? I'd say initially verbal agreement. Now we're talking about legal agreement and stuff like that. You know, are we going to get this done? I think that's plain and simple. You know, generalized type question.
yeah, I mean, I think we've proposed, you've accepted. We set the wedding date. All of the invitations have yet to go out though. So
and the bridesmaid and the bridegrooms aren't available yet.
But hey, in these COVID days, two crazy people, we're lucky to have found each other. Anyway,
All right.
I'm going to end that analogy now.
Yeah.
In terms of the census data,
Yeah.
I think we went through this previously. If you need us to resend what we were looking for, we had, we had put together a little something that was based on, this is going back now several months, but you had provided to us, like, Louisville zip codes, Troy, New York zip codes, Pittsfield, Mass zip, whatever. And we had taken those and, built into, a standard kind of format. But if you actually have that sort of data, then that'll be fine. We're not asking Paul to comment right now, but that's one of the reasons Paul is on the phone. He will be able to pull that data for people that you don't even know about. So,
Right.
So
I'm not sure the numbers. I gave you the regional,
yeah,
big spots, if you will. And GE won't give me that census data. They just won't give it to me.
Paul is going to give us that census.
Okay.
Okay. So he basically, what, the technology he uses similar to what, a lot of big companies are doing in terms of how they interact with their stakeholders. They're going to social media and they're able to find kind of these links. And then once you're there, I know this will come as a shock to all of us, but people display almost more than you need to know about them. I mean, we're talking their dates of birth, their favorite color, who they saw recently, et cetera. So if you spend any time on social media, it'll scare you. And that's just the surface of it. I mean, the fact of the matter is I can probably pull up their mortgage contract. So
No, you can get anything online.
I know it's fairly crazy, but anyway, it's all compliant. It's it's legal. They stop at whatever. He's not like hacking into the CFO's database like a GE.
Yeah.
But
on that census
do that
data, I
too if you want.
remember, Don, I didn't, I'm sorry, I was over talking you, didn't hear what you said and you laughed, but.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just said Paul and his team are all you know, all of this
Hackers,
stuff is
scammers.
done in a compliant manner. It's not,
Yeah.
we're not, and then I jokingly said, but if you want us to do something not compliant,
Oh, no, geez, I gotta erase that from the tape now, you son of a bitch.
no, you can keep it in the tape. We're joking. If they don't get it, if they don't get it from that, then certainly my evil laugh should have given it away.
Yeah.
Um,
Let me say this about the
Yeah.
census data. We gave you, I know we gave you this data about VIA benefits and how many people they enrolled and how many people were in different type plans. I know we gave you that data. So that gives you a little bit of an idea, totally, not regionally, but totally.
Yeah. So just so we're clear about that, we do have that sort of information. You've provided us that, and you provide us other sorts of regionalized information. When we
Right.
talk about census data, we're talking about the name, address, dependent status, date of birth.
Okay.
And we don't necessarily need their you know, Medicare ID number now, but in normal terms, we'd be talking about a HICN or a Medicare ID number. So that's what we're talking about. It's like the specific information
Okay.
enough that they could be enrolled, kind of thing. Here, we probably just need enough to contact however we're going to contact them. So if we're going to contact them via email, we just need their name and email. If we're going to contact them via mail, we need an address. If we're going to, you know, so that type of thing.
Right. So you are going to shoot for both online and offline as far as this goes. So you're going to shoot for those people that, like you said, regular snail mail. You're going to shoot for a big audience here.
Yes, we are. We're probably going to start with the people that are online. Frankly, just it's more expensive and more involved to send someone,
Absolutely.
you know, a postage piece of mail with a printed, you know, form or whatever. So it's a little easier to do that in an electronic environment. So
Yeah.
happy to start there. And there are other ways, by the way. We can do this through social media. We can do this through, you know, just traditional website development. We can do this if you wanted. I'm just saying this is to consider. There are other contact mediums, including phones. Both.
Well, we have that all built in the marketing plan from our end, as far as like the other retiree groups on Facebook, the retiree chapters, and the national retiree reps, and all those contacts that we listed in that marketing plan. So, you know, we can hit them by email, you know, invite them, try to solicit them to come in and listen to the webinar, you know.
Yeah, and so let me pause here just for a second, Paul. I'll let you say a couple words. Have you been able to locate a few people?
We have, yeah. So it's so right now what we're doing is can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so right now what we've been doing is we've been consolidating all the groups on all the social media outlets right now. So we started with Facebook. The challenge with Facebook is when you pull data from the business group, a public business group, you get their, call it first name and last name, maybe location details, if they have any contact details listed within their publicly facing social page, we can pull that. So what we're doing is we're taking the data that we have from the social media outlets and we're combining it with other data we're finding. So I'd say we have a list of around 5,000 or so. But John, everything that you just went through with the marketing details,
Yeah.
I'm gonna probably take a minute, if it's okay with the team, to show you some things that we would be proposing on how to manage this, because I did go through your system and there's probably a lot easier ways to manage this, especially with texting, emailing. We'd rather have it within one technical base where you can just find the leads and press a button and do mass emailing, mass texting to start doing conversions of those leads. But to pull those leads over, they have to be, there has to be something intriguing for them. There has to be something, you know, highly enticing, you know, that they're going to be joining. So,
Right.
so whenever you guys have a minute, I'll show you some of the things that we've already done, because I know it's been a few weeks, and I apologize. I've been out for a little bit due to a death in a family, but
Yeah,
it's
sorry about that.
I think Thank you for that. But I think you'll understand where we're going with this in just a few minutes. So,
All right, yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get into that in more depth. Let's finish these questions and then.
Yeah, these next ones are pretty quick. So you are the plan sponsor, GERBS is the plan sponsor. Benistar will be the designated TPA, and we'll be responsible for all the accountability responsibilities that you're going to outsource all of that. The only thing you're going to keep are discretionary choices about who the insurer is, who the TPA is, us, and what plans. Other than that, I mean,
Is that better defined in
waiting on
this new
eligibility.
agreement, Don? Is
Again?
that better defined in this new agreement?
it should be better defined in that new agreement. Take a look at it and
Yeah, I got it, by the way, so. I'll
Okay,
look at it
thank
after.
you. In terms of the Benistar website page, we're not going to do a Benistar branded website page. Doesn't help anyone. No one's going to know who we are. They won't care who we are. So together we'll create something. I'm not saying this in a negative way, but your site is not adequate for our activities either. And it kind of just fits in a little bit with what Paul was talking about. But in addition, just the data structure for it won't work if we're trying to do e-commerce through it. If you're just trying to have a blank page, we could do that. I mean, we could just have hey, click here and it'll tell you 4 things like call this person or something like that. But in terms of engagement, it will not be sufficient. So, and we're not going to build it off of our, we're not going to direct people to a Benistar.com related thing. If you look at our web page, it's worse than yours, and it's that way on purpose. We own the real estate, but we're not a B2C business principally, at least in the engagement of our firm. So it's just there for very basic stuff. You, however, are going to need to be supportive of your membership. So humbly, I think Paul will suggest some improvements to do just that. And some of those improvements are not just functionality, but security, data integrity, other things that you'll want to be, up to snuff on, let's say.
Yeah, I think, regarding that and regarding some of the deficiencies in our website, I think that'll be a good conversation for Paul and I to have at another point there, separate meeting.
Yeah, but it will be useful to have it. What I'm saying is it will be useful to have a landing page.
Yes, I agree.
That's interactive for them. And by the way, it's not just you. I don't know if you've ever been to the VIA. I'm sure you have. If you've been to the VIA, website portal, it's nothing inspiring.
Yeah, no.
It's probably it's better, but it's not. Candidly.
Right, so, how's the portal going to work to Anthem? There has to be a link somewhere, whether you guys have a portal and then it goes to Anthem, or we have a portal and it goes to Anthem. I mean, I'm just kind of confused about, I understand that Benistar information page and interacting with our members and giving them some information.
So our interface with Anthem is through just a secure FTP site, and there's an internal data transfer protocol. But in terms of web commerce, I'm not sure we've even defined what we would do that. First of all, you don't want private party data kind of to exist in an environment that isn't secure. So data capture will be limited. We may have some. I mean, we may decide that is a way to go, to have people type into a website so we data capture some information. On the other hand, it may be more limited to like a scan capture of a form, or it may be a combination of them. I'm not,
how does Anthem do it with other groups? How do they enroll people? They got to have an online enrollment portal.
So in the individual market, as opposed to the group market, it's pretty much all paper. In the group market, it can be paper as well. And so paper means literally you put a postage on an enrollment form where you've signed it and you send it through the mail. It could be faxed. It can be telephonically captured, which means that I'm on a recorded line and you call in and you say, yes, I want to enroll for these benefits. You give me the 4 key pieces of information. And then what happens is there's a fulfillment part of it. You send out something to them and it confirms that they've been enrolled. There's a Medicare required thing and you have 20 days to opt back out, et cetera, unless it's AP, and then there are more complicated rules. Anyway, and then we can do something, like I said, through web-enabled or internet-based activity. The question is, what are we going to feel comfortable doing and how? So, for example, as I was just saying, if you wanted to capture an enrollment form where you literally, it was a paper enrollment form, you want to take a picture of it and like scan it, you could do that. I mean, or you could set up a portal like you're describing, which has data capture, takes you through an enrollment and picks up each of those pieces of information and loads them and transfer. We don't do a lot of that. And the reason we don't do a lot of that is that most people, most retirees don't want to do it that way. They prefer talking to a human or they prefer writing something down. So I'll leave it to you to go through that. But in terms of our capability to do it, we can do any and all of those things.
Okay. All right, a number of avenues for the retirees or members or dependents, whatever you want to call
Yeah.
them.
So
As far as-
Mike Roberts likes to say, people don't buy insurance, it's sold.
It's true.
I just threw that out there for Mike. Anyway,
Thank you.
so if that's the case, really what you want to do is you want to get someone to call you. You want someone to make the simplest of actions, either call you or click an accept button or something like that, rather than, hey, go to the site, fill this out, etc. So, and I have to confess, I'm a little bit that way myself. Like I called to schedule my vaccine. I like talking to them. So,
But a contact form on that mock page and some other information, I think is a good idea because, I keep talking about, well, when I did previous announcements and then we delayed or postponed, the people are looking at a page that just has the basics. It has really no information for them.
Well, why don't we deal with that when Paul does his few
good
minutes?
idea.
And Paul, I'm sure you can create a contact form fairly easily.
Well, there's one on there, but he can create his own, whatever he wants.
Yeah, well, John, everything's going to be recreated as far as this opportunity.
I also like the 1 minute video that you post on. I like the whiteboard one. That's the one I'm partial to, but other people like the cartoon one. Some people like live action ones, but you can do a little instruction video if you want. Even if you don't use the site as for e-commerce, you can have it like, what should I expect? There's someone talking and how do I do this and how do I do that? And just walk them through it. It can be a 60-second, video if you want. Anyway.
I know Bob has a question and Paul,
Yeah,
do you want to respond first? Well, let Paul respond to what you just brought up. Did you want to respond, Paul?
Yeah, what I'm going to do in a minute, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and I'm going to show you pretty much how to do this and how we're building this for you, because our philosophy is if we find you 10,000 leads tomorrow, our goal is to convert 10,000 leads tomorrow. So, right now the lead conversion is probably 10% on
Conversion.
your subscriber base. So the goal is to increase that system and, providing them knowledge on how they can.
You're breaking
Paul, I
out,
don't know if you
Paul.
can hear me. Paul, you froze up. We missed all that.
Oh, geez. I'm sorry. I'm sitting here in the at the Grand Canyon. So
Yeah, you were going in and out.
let me just see.
Well, we'll get to that in a second, right, Paul? We're going to discuss
yeah.
all that.
Yeah. So Bob, you had a question.
Yeah. You got to turn your mic on, Bob.
Sorry. Yes. I know when you brushed over that about the in or out of network doctors you can see.
Yep.
Is my understanding right that if you see an out-of-network doctor, it's going to cost each member more for the co-payment?
No,
No.
it's the same.
Same.
Same?
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, if you remember back to the plan designs, they in and out of network was the same exact price. That's one of the great features of it.
I just wanted to hit on that to make sure, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Understood.
Yep.
Thanks.
Thank-
So on the before you leave, there was one last one there, I
Oh.
think.
Uh,
Explain how before calling for enrollment, the new transfer or newly eligible individuals meet all the applicable eligibility requirements. Is this the evidence of coverage piece is set forward in this agreement? So it's running two things together. First, eligibility. You're going to define eligibility, and you can define it fairly broadly, but it should be, you know, anyone who's a retiree from GE who would otherwise qualify for any other benefit. If you want to expand it a little to, like, I don't know.
well, we're talking retirees, dependents.
Yeah, if you wanted to expand it to, like, you know, surviving spouses and for people who, you know, were part-timers but retired from GE or whatever. I mean, that's all fine, that eligibility stuff. And I'm saying this candidly, the practical matter is it's very difficult for anyone to, you know, to go back and say, no, that person wasn't an eligible person. And so it's not like they're going to be heavily scrutinized. So it's not a big deal. The part about the evidence of coverage relates more, that's a fulfillment thing. There'll be evidence of coverage provided in a couple of different ways. There's a fulfillment that will confirm, and it's confirmation that CMS requires that individual intends to join this plan, and so they're just confirming that. And you will have a certificate, which is actually a booklet that confirms, you know, that enrollment and those benefits. Under a group arrangement, and this is different than an individual arrangement, if you disenroll, it automatically creates a special open enrollment period for you. So let's say that you enroll in July, and in September, for whatever reason, you're like, Anthem's a bunch of commie bedwetters, I'm out of here. You leave, it automatically opens a special enrollment period for you. You could go to the individual market and enroll in something. And that's all confirmable through CMS. In terms of anything in this related to like a pre-cert thing, it's no loss, no gain, as long as it's Medicare that's keeping track of your eligibility at that level. If, for example, you were a person, for example, that enrolled in Part A but delayed enrolling in Part B, you could be subject to, you know, a higher cost. If you enrolled in Part A and you enrolled in Part B timely but didn't enroll in any credible Part D coverage, then they might impose a penalty on for that. But that's all driven by CMS, not by the carrier, not by us. So hopefully that hits on all three of those elements.
I muted Mike because I hear background talk, and I'm not sure it's Mike, but anyway.
No. So moving on to the Ed Stone pieces,
Okay.
I think a lot of the stuff is duplicative of stuff we've already covered, but let's briefly hit it. In terms of the census data, you did not in true form provide a census data. How can they quote a price without that data? We provided, you know, regionalized data and assumptions around the type of enrollment, and the way that they can do it in Medicare Advantage is a little bit, you know, you need to understand how pricing works there. So what you see is this, you know, let's say $185 price for these set of benefits, but that's a very small piece of the overall cost. The federal government, based on regionalized data, provides a subsidy to Anthem for all of the base part of those benefits. And that in the New York area might be $1,300 per person per month. And so they have access to that. And absent any experience on the group, it doesn't really matter that you provide a census. I mean, they have no way to distinguish the relative cost between a 63-year-old female and a 72-year-old male, because the reimbursement won't change. It'll be the same from the federal government. So basically just providing the regionalized areas and some assumptions about that is how it's underwritten, and that's what we did. The policy, we already hit this in number 2. All of that's going to be outsourced to the TPA. You're not going to be doing any of the payment. So hopefully that's reflected in the new draft, but if
Yeah.
it's not, let's make it clear. In terms of the evidence of coverage, that is that lengthy document. So sign that off and you can stick that in as a number 2. So there is an application. The application's literally 1 page long. It's nothing. It's like group name, tax ID number, like 5 other pieces of information. That's it. It's not.
That'll be in the policy agreement that I have to initial. Is that the piece you want me to initial?
Yeah, look it over. I mean, but
yeah,
that's the 40 pages of benefits that we went through line by line.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you need us to review anything with you, happy to do it. Just pick a time and we'll walk through it.
All right.
In terms of the certain number of people, again, that was reflected above.
Yeah.
2 people is what we'd like, to get it started. We could technically, I guess, do it with 1. We can't really do it with 0, but we have no other expectation of enrollment. The indemnification is an indemnity. It's of a limited concern. All it's saying is that it's not that Anthem determines the eligibility, it's you've defined it. So if you want to change it or suggest that some change, go ahead, have Ed do it yourself, whatever. I'm fine.
Gonna let Ed review this video and see if he still has questions or issues that he wants.
Yeah. So what I'm saying on number 5, if there's something that needs to be changed, change it. Again, the policy contemplates different premium amounts and subsidies by the group. That should be reflected in what you have, that redraft, but to the extent it isn't, modify it. We're going with the 1 national rate, 2 plan.
Right.
Yeah, so the underwriting and other requirements, let's just strike that. We don't really need that.
Okay.
On the Article 10, contemplates ongoing group liability claims are paid after termination. Remember, I don't even know what that means. So, I mean, I think what this was sort of relating to was if a member terms but claims are paid, which I don't even understand how this is a fully insured contract and it's fully governed by CMS. So literally, if you died in the middle of the month, there's a policy in CMS as to when those benefits terminate, et cetera. So I don't know. I'll have to look at Article 10. I don't even know.
Yeah, and again, I'll make sure that Ed, maybe me, you, and Ed need to have 1 meeting, to discuss some of his other, if there's further questions.
Yeah. So on number 9, in terms of the service area and the cost varying, we're going to go with 1. So there's 2 things. 1 is not something that's reflected in his question here, but in terms of cost varying by service areas, that is in fact true, but we're going with a single rate.
Right.
If we were going to change the rate, we would change it at renewal, and that could happen. I mean, if it turned out that we're starting with the higher cost areas. And this is a little bit counterintuitive, but that may not necessarily be the best profile. And the reason that's the case is that really it's the cost of care minus the subsidy is kind of profitability or margin for the carrier. So if you're in an area that has high cost but high subsidy, that might be okay. If you're in an area that has high cost but low subsidy, that may not be. So anyway, those are hyper technical things that don't mean anything to anyone.
Right.
We're going to
try to level that stuff off when they run a group plan. Don't they try to level those, adjust one for the other, the higher price for the lower price, and say, hey, we'll take the hit in between or something. I'm just asking this. I don't know if that's the way they think or not.
Yeah. Well, again, we're not sure where the membership's going to come in from.
Yeah,
So
we don't know yet.
initially, it's not going to matter. I mean, we'll address it over time.
All right.
The other thing, though, that is in fact an issue, which is the reason we had to provide area, is that in order for us to issue this sort of plan, there is a CMS requirement that at least 51% of the people live within a service area. The service area has some definitions attached to it. They include things like, so many doctors within so many miles, so many hospitals within so many miles, that type of thing. And so the only way to measure that is you measure enrolled people, and you look at their zip code, and at least 51% of them have to live within that area in order to be able to offer this type of plan. So I had this conversation not with Anthem, but with Aetna in a different context, and they said, look, in their entire history, no one has rejected it after it was done initially, but it is still a rule. So that's one thing that we will look at, making sure that when we do enrollment, that at least 51% of the population lives within a service area. Now, Blue Cross, as you know, is a national network, and so there are, in almost all areas, there's pretty robust coverage. But if we went out and enrolled, the first 5 people in rural Iowa, and there were no other people in, that might not work so well. So anyway, we'll just have to be conscious of that.
Yeah.
And then the addendum we just talked about, I mean, those addendums do exist. So, take a look at those. We tack them on. I think we should strike the one that I said,
Article 10 or
the article, yeah, was it Article 10? Yeah. I don't know what that is, that Article 10 thing. So maybe it has already been changed. I'm not looking at it.
all right. Okay, so anybody on the board have any questions on any of that on the policy agreement? Anybody? Brian, Connie?
I think that was it for me.
Okay. I'm gonna
No, but
go
we gotta
back.
get Paul going.
I know it. I'm gonna go back to the agenda here. What did I do?
Yeah, so number 10 is there. I am looking at it. So this is like if you somehow did something to terminate without providing notice, but why would you do that? I mean, I don't know.
We have to ask Ed what his thinking was on that. I'm not sure what his thinking was, to be honest with you.
But it's a fully insured plan, so I mean, I don't.
Once I already have it, but once I let Ed review it, and then we'll give you a call, Don, and we'll set up a time to discuss any concerns. All right.
Okay.
All right. So now we're at the marketing plan, and Paul, you're going to take over the website design where we talked about some of that, whether there's a portal, not a portal, a mock page, or an entrance page, at least information page for us, and then we'll get to the webinar after that. So Paul, you're on. You want to take over, right?
Yes, sir. Go ahead and I will take control of the screen.
Can you just do it, or do I have to give you permission?
Yeah, no, I could just do it. So,
Okay. All right.
so give me 1 second here. Oh, you have to enable screen sharing for me.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's see here. Oh, oops. Come on. Let's see. Where the hell is this? Put in waiting room, remove.
Now, when I'm going through these details, also, if my screen glitches or anything, just let me know and I'll slow down.
Yeah. Where's that setting, Paul? I'm not seeing that setting. I'm on your name and.
For
Or-
you.
Oh,
should be
there
able
it
to-
is. I got it.
Yeah, you should be able to. Yeah.
There you go. Yep. You should have it now.
Okay, cool.
There you go.
All right. Can you guys see my screen?
Well, yeah, now we can. Can you make that,
Okay,
those,
great.
you're gonna do each individual slide, make it bigger, right?
Yeah, I'll make them big.
Okay,
It's so I just wanted to go through a few quick things. So this is the current model where we just to understand the differences. This is just a base site. This is the current site that you have that kind of goes through some of the basic benefits and so on. In the back, users in the back end. This is what happens when a user logs in. They also see a WordPress management portal. Okay, so and I just want to make a clear distinction here. If I go to users, all users, this is pretty much how we're managing users within the system right now through the WordPress portal manager, where you have subscribers and then members and so on. Okay.
now, are you making those come up because it's staying on one page? I see you moving the mouse around. Are you
Yeah, it
choosing,
should be.
because it's not changing?
Do
on
you
my
do you
screen.
see the?
There you
Oh,
go.
it's
Now it has, yes.
okay. Yeah, it looks like there's a slight delay. It looks like it's definitely Zoom that's doing this. So I apologize. So this is actually the current portal that is managing the user base for
Right.
the GE retirement team. So
Right.
and I'll just be honest, this is a challenging, cumbersome model to market and do remarketing with, because you're going through, I see you have WooCommerce in here.
Yes, we
You
do.
have like MailPoet. So what I'm going to show you is a few screenshots, and team, I'll send you these slides in a few minutes. But so let me know if you could see this PowerPoint.
Not yet. Not seeing it yet. There you go. Now you're back to the choices there on your PowerPoint. But
Yeah, do you see the full PowerPoint now with the rebranding?
I'm not seeing that slide as a big slide. That first slide.
Paul, the first page is up that says full rebranding of website for GE retirement model.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go through this and I'm going to tell you when I'm switching from slide to slide. Okay. So slide 1. All right. We're on a full rebranding of the website. All right. So what we've already done is we've already gone through and we've redone your website. Okay. I have not published this. This is on a private domain right now. And I'll walk you through each one of these steps. So slide 1, this is the overview. Our goal is to make your website clean, inviting, with basic data on, converting these retirees into the portal. Okay. This is not.
Are we supposed to be seeing a big picture? I see small thumbnails on the left, not small, medium, but I don't see a big picture in the middle. A slide.
Yeah. So I'm going to go through that. So,
Okay. There you go.
So I just went to the next slide. So all we're doing is I'm just giving you perspective on what we will do from a marketing and branding standpoint. Our goal is to rebrand the client facing site. And then from here, they'll go through a cleaner website. And I'll just click through this because, again, this needs to have copy management done. So we'll go through, identify what the users are looking to see. Based on our, we'll do what's called keyword analytics to get the right keywords on the website. Okay. This is just giving you an idea. Some of the things we're putting in here. I went to the next slide. You should see 2 little pictures. Okay.
Yeah.
Next slide, your basic mission statements, disclaimer. Next slide should be the contact us. So now what happens is when a user comes to your website, okay, they will go through a registration page. Okay. So they will be able to go through a login page now. Now the login page, again, it's clean. There will also be an app that goes along with this. All right. If they do not have a login, they will go to a login page, okay, to set up their entry data to, become a member in the system. All right.
Yeah. I like it. Is that going to be a 2-step verification into logging in and all that? Cool.
Correct. Yeah. It will be. So
Right.
once they log in,
You broke. Your voice broke.
Oh, can you guys hear me?
You said once they log in, that's all we heard.
Yeah, once they log in, they will gain to the membership portal. Okay, so this is your new membership portal.
I have
Can
a
you guys-
question here real quick.
Yeah,
Right now, we're using the GoDaddy website host. We're getting rid of them and going to another one. Is this going to cause a problem? Are you going to have to redo everything, or will this just naturally slide over to the new host?
yep. No one will see a difference. So what'll happen is you will have what's called a domain pointer to this system, and then everything will be seamless to the user. Okay.
Wow, look at this. This is, you know, this is what I try to get GoDaddy to do, but they couldn't do none of it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
hey, John, the difference is Paul normally gets $10,000 an hour.
Ow, 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 ow. You meant a year, didn't you, or something? Or-
Hour,
What?
hour.
Geez.
So what they'll do, John, is they will be entering through their new membership portal. Okay, now you'll see on this membership portal, it's clean, it's to the point, and everything they can ever want is right here. They can understand their benefits, their discounts, their learnings, a learning center to push data to them. This is all your
Wow.
webinars, a full help desk. So if they need help with anything,
Yeah.
they can just request it through the website and the app.
I'm
they-
impressed. I'm impressed, brother.
Well, you haven't seen anything yet, so
Yeah,
so
yeah, keep going.
So this is the membership portal that they will have. So from here, there's going to be a full video. You can see in the upper right-hand side, there's something called Get Started. So when they enter the portal, there's going to be a video that tells them exactly how it works, what their benefits are, how they are going to, gain value from being in this program. So
Wow.
from here, they're going to be able to click on their benefits. So this is actually their benefits page. This is where Benistar comes in.
Yeah.
So once we go through and enroll them, they will see all of their benefit details.
Nice.
Still working with Benistar on this, but everything they have, all the questions that they have, they can just click on these little options and they will see what benefits are provided to them. And if they do not have benefits yet, they will go to My Benefits, and they will be able to sign up for benefits through Benistar through this portal. Okay.
Ah,
It'll be
okay.
a simple,
That's a
it'll be a,
portal.
yep. It'll be a simple 2 or 3 option model,
Yeah.
big buttons. They'll just be able to click, and all they do is they just pay through the portal. And the good thing is once they are a member of the GE Retirement Benefit Solutions program, all they need to do is click a button and we will automatically charge their card on file for their benefits. Okay, so this will all be done in the back end. There will be no challenges for the user. Okay,
Wow.
so the next thing is, in addition to
lost
this,
you,
they will
Paul.
get a discount program. So these are, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Now we
go
can.
ahead.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
go
sorry
ahead.
about that. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you
so
can-
from here, they will go into their discount programs. So in this, you could actually see here that we have, so we're working with several different discount providers, and our goal is to give the user benefits beyond just, medical health benefits. So from here, they'll have a whole group of discounts. So you could actually see here, we work with national chains like IHOP, Outback. We'll plug those in here, and they will be able to just get their discounts being in the system. So,
Yeah, you're
Um,
you're waffling now.
so
you're
from
quick.
here, they will be able to go in. Yeah, I apologize. Let me just check. All right.
Are you on
Yeah,
drugs or something?
connection's still good. So I apologize, guys. So, can you guys see my videos
Yeah, yeah.
right now? Push all of the webinars. Okay. So you will be able to go in, you'll be able to see program comparisons, opportunities. These will all be like webinar videos. Okay. So we will push this through that they will have on their phones. If they're not on their phones, they will see it within this portal. Okay. Next thing is FAQs.
Yeah.
If they have any questions, comments, oh yeah, these are the videos that I'm just showing you of how it works. And then they'll be able to go through FAQs, how to start their benefits.
Geez, you're breaking up awful, buddy. You're breaking up awful.
I am so sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, I can see the network.
Yeah.
So you should see an FAQ on the screen right now.
Yep.
Okay, so from here, they'll be able to see all the details on, how you provide them benefits. And our goal is to minimize human interaction because in this case, they have all the to manage this. Okay. Next thing is, this is going to be a news portal. Okay, so everything and anything about retirement benefits, what's happening with president, the presidential changes, regulatory changes, what's happening with General Electric. We could put all that stuff in here. Okay.
Okay.
Some
There you go.
news feeds from like General Electric and stuff like that, which we will have a store. So in the store area, you will be able to put it
Hey, Paul, you gotta
all
stop
of the
drinking
store
coffee.
is to, yeah. I'm sorry. Can you guys see this now, the store?
Yeah.
Okay, so the goal of the store, John, is again, you as a benefits provider, we can actually set up products and services that are complementary to what GE Retiree Benefit Solutions provides. And then from there, we could set up pass-through income for your organization. So for example, we do this with another company. So these Valera air purifiers, we make $600 for every single one that's purchased. Okay. And we do nothing. So
Paul, can we do that as a nonprofit? Can we do that kind of thing?
Yeah, you can. So as long as you don't exceed 20% for officer income, it's fine.
Okay. Officer income?
Yeah, so as far as like, those are the main regulatory models that you have to follow. As long as the income goes into the organization and benefits the users,
Okay.
you're fine with all this.
All right.
So now I just want to show you one more thing. This is your new portal to manage all the users. Okay. So now what you're going to do is you guys should see my portal right now. Yeah.
No. Yeah, there, it just came up.
Okay, so this is your new portal to manage your subscriptions. You could actually see here your bronze, silver, gold, your group contributor levels.
Right.
You could actually see your monthly revenues. You could actually see all your benefits. Like we can manage everything within your new portal. Okay, and I'm just going to show you a few of these screens. We're going to be able to manage, products pretty easily. We're going to be able to manage the benefits really easily. We're going to be able to manage business partners really easily, all through a single portal.
These are all good statistical type things for us to review, right?
Yeah. You could drill, and I just want to get to the main thing I wanted to show you.
Okay.
So you should see on your screen now, it says new leads management and opportunities.
No.
Okay,
There.
it should be loading. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so this is what we're doing at Benistar right now. So all of the leads that the Benistar team is going to be collecting for you from Facebook and from other social media outlets.
Okay.
You're going to see them right here as new leads. Okay.
Yep.
So you could actually see here like James Benton, Josephine Cheney, Chapman Ivan. So we found these leads in Facebook. We will identify whether they are enrolled or not enrolled. We will give you information on these leads. Okay. And then from there, you can go in and choose to edit and play with these leads and play with these leads. You will have a historical like database to manage the leads we're providing you. So let's say we provide you 100 new leads per day.
Yeah,
Your team will now be able to go in here, see the leads, manage the leads, put a status on the leads, whether they've been contacted or not. You will be able to email them directly from the system, text them from the system. And we could actually set up where, I know you said, are we going to be doing digital marketing or, like direct marketing through paper? We
Yeah.
can set that up through this too. So let's say we wanted to send them a postcard. We could set that up with the integration with some of the providers that we have, where you can just pretty much select what you want to send them, and we can send out postcards. So,
yeah,
so everything you need is going to be within this single system.
yeah. Wow, that was
All
quite
right.
impressive.
I'm gonna stop sharing now because my phone is blowing up.
Your phone is blowing up.
So thoughts, comments about what I just showed you there?
I'm very impressed. I don't know how the rest of the board feels, but that is a nice looking site compared to what, yeah. And believe me, the site we had from GoDaddy was an improvement over the original Rage HCC website, but
Yeah.
this is much better.
This
Much
looks
better.
Yeah.
amazing, Paul.
Thank you so much, Bob.
Brian and
Our
Connie?
I'm really impressed with it.
Connie, look at all the data you're going to be able to get. Phenomenal for your work.
Yeah, so our goal with this, John, is like we have a belief with like membership portals. I mean, the more value you provide in the membership portal, the
Yep.
more they're going to be willing to pay you.
Yes.
So if we can make it clean, really, well constructed, easy from an information sharing standpoint, plus we can communicate through the portal, it will be more willing to trust you and to rely on you for everything. So our goal is not to just have them rely on us for, what they should do after retirement, but they should rely on us for everything from benefits to, where they eat, where they, buy their underwear. So like we can put all of that in the system.
Okay, so as far as when you said the interaction, now I assume there'll be a contact form, but will there be like a chat portal, a customer service
Yes.
portal?
Yep.
Okay.
So it's
Okay,
like there's a full bi-directional like messaging system.
Okay.
So they can like we just need to understand who's going to be doing what. So let's say Connie is managing, customer relations, and we can set it up where the user can now chat directly with Connie through the system. Okay.
Yeah.
It'll go through like a chat bot, and they could just request, or even speak with Benistar. They could just say, speak with my benefits provider,
Yeah.
and it'll come up with a chat bot, and they could just speak directly with Benistar or with Connie or with whoever you want identified.
Well, and then our organizational chart, you'll see titles and also that what each officer chairs, the committee they chair. So that gives you not like Connie treasurer, Brian benefits advocate, Bob is going to be our liaison on with Benistar and also answer Medicare Advantage questions for people, stuff like that. Each person has a responsibility on the board, Paul.
Yeah. Well, we have this. We've actually since we last spoke, you could see we built this for you.
Yeah.
The goal is now to figure out how to make it live and to figure out the roles that we'll be managing within it. Okay. And once we have this, we will take your current members, we could put them through the portal, and then you could have this nice release to the new members and to the current members and say, we are upgrading our value to you. This is what we have. This is what we're providing you. And then from there, we will start filling your new leads with new leads. And then, your team can manage the leads. Benistar will help manage the leads, and it's all a conversion game. So,
Okay. Now, do I have to contact GoDaddy and say, listen, we've hired a private designer, which they said we could do right from the beginning, but and he's going to redesign our site. Should I just say that to him?
so all we need to do with GoDaddy is once you'll give me access to your GoDaddy account, and we will just change the pointer, the domain pointer. So it's like, it takes 2 minutes. So
Where are you changing the domain pointer to? To you? Is that what
yeah,
you?
so that's, yeah. So what we'll do is we'll make a decision on where we will host this. So we could host it on GoDaddy. We could host it on like a SiteGround.
That's
So I
what
think,
we were thinking, going to.
yeah,
site.
yeah, maybe SiteGround. It's just cheaper. So it's just like more reliable and cheaper.
That's what
And
we're.
then, yeah, what we'll do is we'll provide you with a go live schedule on this,
Okay.
like the things we need to do. And, we'll go from there.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's say, for sure, let's say, get it pointed towards you in the domain name or to SiteGround. And
Yep.
let's get this thing over hosting wise to SiteGround. I want to confirm that right now with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
that works.
also,
So,
what kind of timeline you talking, Paul, before this would be live?
let me coordinate with Don and the Benistar team, just on the timeline, because there's still additional details on the benefit side that we have to add to the portal. But we can realistically go live with this in the next, few weeks. So,
Okay.
So also, Paul, and this is something that we have to discuss internally with Don and Glenn. There are certain rules and regulations guided by CMS. I want to make sure that the
Yep.
color scheme is easy for everybody to see. We're dealing with a different marketplace, the font size, and obviously copy. Okay?
of course.
Okay.
Both were breaking. You were breaking up a
Oh.
little there too, Mike, but I caught most of it anyway. Okay, Connie or Brian or Bob, any questions on something that pops up in your minds? Nothing?
I just want to say how nice this looks. That really
I'm impressed.
terrific job, Paul.
Wow.
Thank you so much, Bob.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
Now, the only question I have is the site that I have, the benefit advocate, is it gonna be eliminated then?
Again, we'll go through in more detail, some of the additional, content
Pages, yeah.
pieces that go into this, but our goal again is to
Mm.
increase your conversion. So if you have 700 subscribers, our goal is to have 700 paying members. So, and the way to do that is to provide them value, through clean portals like this.
Yeah.
And then what we'll do is, once we understand the conversion rates within this portal, then it's just going out and hitting the masses. So if we know the conversion rate is 30%, we know that if we target 10,000 users, we'll get about 3,000 or so members. And then we could start predicting what our cash flows are going to be within your environment.
Okay, so you've looked at our site, you know what Brian's talking about. He has his own page, Benefits Advocate. We have a news page that includes me, membership news and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Those kind of pages, would they basically fall under the news page, or are we talking of adding sub pages or like Brian's page as additional pages? Because the Benefits Advocate is a value added thing. That's one of the things we.
Yeah.
talk
What
about.
what I would probably do is, within the dashboard that I showed you, there's a news portal and a learning portal and a help desk. So what we do is we probably just copy one of them and call it the Benefits Advocate. So instead of, we just have a new area within the site called Benefits Advocate. And then Brian, what I'll do is we'll show you how to just add content. It's like, it's a true CMS content management portal. So you could pretty much just drag, drop. There's a full editor, and just plug in data, and it'll appear like it's a website. So
What
and
is
it'll-
your editor, Paul, for changing editing pages or adding?
it's completely custom. We built it.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah. So it's like, think of it like, it's kind of like WordPress, but easier. So
It's not Beaver Builder.
no.
Which
It's
they
much
is-
easier than that stuff.
All
Yeah.
right, good. That's
Yeah,
what I thought.
this is pretty much, this is made for, we designed this so and this sounds funny, but we designed it so an 8-year-old can do it. So
Oh, well, that
um,
includes all of us.
Well, I did that because my at the time I built this, my son was 8, so I wanted him to manage it. So,
Bob, go ahead.
I just wanted to add in there about the 8-year-old. I used to tell my daughter I had a great grandson who was 2.
yeah.
You know, I said, he could mess that up and just touching the keys in the wrong way. So I had to go down and work on the computer.
Yeah.
And he was there wanting to get into it
Yep.
with his DVD. And I said, wait till I get it fixed. So I got it fixed. And I said, you want me to put that in for you? He just pushed me out of the way.
You're smarter
Crawled,
than we are.
walked, whatever you want to call it, up to the computer, opened it and put that in and started playing with it.
Yeah.
I
Right.
took my daughter
Oh,
out in the
nice
hall and
kids.
I said, you remember that, what I told you about a 10-year-old, probably the age? I said, forget that. If he messes it up, I'll fix it.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
2 years old.
Yeah.
It's actually funny. My kids at 4 years old were working on iPads, and my son is 10 years old right now, and he's coding websites.
Oh, you're
So,
kidding.
Wow.
Wow. Well, hey, I'll just tell a short story that when computers first come out, well, if you want to call it a computer, my very first computer was a Texas Instrument keyboard with a TV screen.
Oh, wow.
And a tape recorder. That was my very first computer. So that's going back, brother.
Wow. Well, hey guys, I have to jump.
All
I
right,
have to.
yeah.
I actually have to jump on a train to the Grand Canyon. So
Oh, all right.
Have a
All
great
right, Paul.
time.
Thank you.
thank you so much,
very
everyone.
much.
And
Yeah.
we'll
Thank
send
you.
you details on the rollout of this.
All
Okay?
right.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so
Thanks,
much, Don.
Paul.
Thanks, everyone. Talk soon.
All
Have
right.
fun.
Thanks,
Bye.
Paul. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.